Hello, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. I'd like to start today with the feet, and we'll stay mostly with the legs today. So we're all in, it's been almost 2 weeks. So the newness might be feeling a little more trying, maybe more comfortable. Like at first maybe it was novel and cute and now it's testing us, or maybe at first it was uncomfortable and we were resistant and now we're settling in. Whatever the case, I'm seeing a lot of people out doing new things, walking, running, cycling, getting outside more, which is great. There's all sorts of silver linings. And I'm doing different stuff too. And I'm feeling it affect differently in my body. Also, springtime, time to start to establish some roots and new growth. So working with the legs symbolically in that way, honoring spring, but also trying to unravel some of the newly created tension and soreness and the different ways that we're using our bodies now and trying to integrate that more. So we're going to work with the feet at first, and I want to highlight a couple of things with the feet. First of all, 26 bones in each foot compared to 2 lower leg bones and 1 upper thigh bone. So our capacity to make change and transformation happens here at the feet. And we've got this part of the foot where the toes live that has a horizontal relationship to the earth. Compared to the heel bone into the leg bone, that's got a vertical relationship to the earth. So vertically and horizontal phenomenon in the foot. So both the vertical and the horizontal, that meeting place, which is the symbology of the Christian cross, right? It's also part of the symbology of the overlaying triangles of Star of David and the heart chakra iconography. So this clarity of vertical presence, a nowness, meeting that never-ending expanse of time and space of the horizontal energy right here in the foot. And being able to feel the horizontal with the vertical simultaneously is like really the heart of the metaphor of meditation, as well as being able to fully embody the beautiful complex structure of our foot. They call it a twisted plate, where it goes from vertical of the heel to horizontal of the toes, all in one functional anatomical unit. So we're going to start there. You want a slidey, big surface. You want to be able to slide around. If you're on carpet, that can work. You're welcome to lay a blanket out between your body and the floor. Come to lay down on your back. And we'll start in what's called the hook line position. Knees bent, feet on floor, body on the floor. And knock your knees together here. Take your feet a little wide. And even in this, like abducting of the legs, they've come off the midline, and a little internal rotation of the thighs to bring the knees back together. We're already asking something of our feet. We're asking them to supinate a little bit. So with the knees gently falling in towards each other and the weight sort of kicked out to the outer feet in this way, take a tiny alternating of the knees where you let one knee lean a little more to the middle and then the other knee lean. So I'm going to give you a different visual here. I'm making the movement bigger than it needs to be so you can see it. So essentially you're adding a little more internal rotation one leg at a time. And this movement can be as big or as small as you want, and I recommend exploring all the variables, small and big, fast and slow, and I generally prefer slow, especially to get the hook up. And then let the head instinctively roll. For me, I turn the head towards the leaning side leg. So it creates a tiny twist up the spine. So my head rolls left as the left knee swings a little more to the right. And I let my head roll to the right as that right knee swings a little more to the left. So if you have to slow it down to feel it, great. If you ended up doing a different pattern, great. It's totally allowed. And then from here, if it works for your lumbar, if it works for your low back, slide your legs long and simply pause. I like to rest my hands on my pelvic belly, low belly. And simply feel the weight of the body on the floor. Like that's a lot to feel just on its own, just how you meet the floor. How heavy the head, how heavy each shoulder, each elbow. One might be heavier than the other. One might actually hurt or not feel great. So a little extra breath and care and love into the parts that don't feel so great. With the obvious uptick around health concerns, right? People are sick, people are dying. There's a lot of people who are also healing and getting well, and remembering this and invoking this in your own body. Like the body wants to take care of us. It wants homeostasis. It wants to heal. It wants to be vibrant and radiant and healthy. Even when we're jerks to it, it still wants that for us. And so call that up now. Call up your own capacity to heal and be healthy and vibrant from your head to your toes. Wish that for yourself and wish that for all beings. Please take the arms straight out to the side. And one knee at a time, if you poke that knee out to the side and then swing the knee up to stand on that foot. One leg at a time. So you end up with both knees bent, feet on floor. Feel the feet on the floor from the outer heel to the big toe ball mound, that verticality of the heel bone, feeding into the longitudinal axis of the leg bones. And then the point where the heel meets the outer foot and that spills into the horizontal nature of the toes, all the way to the big toe. Twisted plate, they call it. So knees are vertical. Keep the knees really quiet. Knees are going to stay pointing up. And then one foot at a time, and I'm going to come closer with my foot so you can see. One foot at a time, or maybe you stay with one foot. Simply ride the outer edge of that foot, just like, or not just like before, but a little bit like before. But before, the knees were knocked together and the feet were wide. Right here, the knees are going to stay perfectly still, which mine are not. So I'm trying to keep my knees perfectly still. And then roll to the outer foot as best as I can. And then replace that foot back in neutral. And then the other foot. Whether you do right to left, or stay with one foot for several rotations is entirely up to you. And clearly, hopefully it's clear, one foot will need it more than the other foot, and it's more about the leg, quite honestly. So feel into this. The technical word for what we're doing with the feet, you could say you're either inverting it or supinating it. There's a little difference between the two. And what you're doing, I have no idea. I trust that you're doing the good work of self-exploration here. So knees stay super quiet. You could put your head in your hands and sort of look at your knees and make sure they're not swinging right and left. Let's include here now the inner foot too. So now I'm going weight on the inner foot. It's like a pronating foot or an everting foot, depending on how you're doing it. And again, the knees stay still right in the middle. Now one's going to be easier, either riding the inner edge or the outer edge. Easier in general, and also easier to do with the knee staying really quiet. So generally speaking, doing the thing that's harder is probably in our better interest. Generally speaking. If you get knee pain, if there's a place where the knee is like, owie, you have a couple of choices. You have a million choices, but I'm going to highlight 2 choices. Avoid that movement. Don't do anything that hurts. Right? That's always sort of the golden rule. The other choice is to carefully, slowly, like a puzzle, feel, think about, imagine, inquire as to what would it be like if I could do this movement without pain. So that probably means that you barely flirt with the beginning impulse of the movement. And if that first impulse creates pain, then you gotta initiate from somewhere different, somehow different. And that's the beauty of healing and self-healing and puzzling around injuries. Okay, wherever you're at, pause. I'm pausing with both my feet supinated. Sustain this movement. Doesn't matter where you're at, right or left, in or out. Just take a nice deep breath. And then continue to motor on through. I'm going to pause, take a break. You can too by either sliding your legs long or by hugging your knees in or keeping your knees bent, knocking them together, whatever feels right. But find a place of stillness and relaxation and feel into what's up now with the feet and lower legs. For me, mine are a little bit tingly. Some sense of fluttering or sort of sparkling in the legs and feet. Yay. Moving on, same hook line position. Now, if you put your hands on your hips, this is what we want to keep quiet now. Pelvis not gonna move at all. Same with the feet. Feet don't move, but the leg bones. So how much, I'm moving my left leg, how much can I take left leg out to the left without the foot coming off the floor and without the pelvis moving? So for me, I get about 4 inches of movement. Taking my knee just far enough, left knee out to the left, where the pelvis does not move, neither does the foot. So essentially what we're doing is, in theory, is just moving the leg bone in the hip socket. Right, so the thigh bone, femur bone, fits in a huge socket in the side of your pelvis, your hip socket proper. But you also have pubic symphysis, which is a joint, and you have your two sacroiliac joints. So you've got several joints in your pelvis. If you include the hip sockets, 2, 4, 6 joints in your pelvis. The two SI joints, the two hip sockets, and on either side of the cartilaginous disc in your pubic joint. So bone, space, disc, space, bone. So 6 joints. And I'm trying to isolate one movement in one joint, and that's the hip socket, the biggest joint, so in theory it's easy. See what the other side does if you haven't yet. And something else that's happening, which is way less obvious, I don't know how obvious any of this is to anyone, but keeping the pelvis quiet, keeping the pelvic bones in their same relationship, I'm having to do a lot of stabilizing. So it means I'm working pretty differently in my pelvis than I normally am. So this could be really good medicine for people with SI dysfunction, like a hypermobile SI joint. In theory, this is also great for core strength. I use my finger quotes because the word core annoys the hell out of me. But deep, deep, deep strength. Deep, deep, deep strength and stability. Quiet, deep strength. To negotiate this, I'm also trying to keep my feet flat on the floor. So then the foot bones, all 26 of those foot bones are having to renegotiate their relationship with each other to stay stable, stationary on the floor. Please keep it up. Please stay with. Take breaks as you need to, because first of all, there's a lot of brain work happening. You have to really concentrate. So it's like meditation. Yay. And it's probably new, which can be exhausting. And it's probably not only new, but really unfamiliar stuff, maybe, for many of you. Okay, a couple more just like this. And one more thing about all the phenomena that's happening. How do I want to say it? It's like when a baby or a little kid is first learning how to move. It's interesting. It's captivating. It's really slow, and it's pretty small work. Here I go, stretching long again. I'm going to punch out through the heels, reach the arms overhead, hook the two thumbs, and like try to rip your thumbs off. You won't be successful. Just try and use that to open the side ribs, side chest. And then at some point, pause, nothing, no thing. You could have your feet on the floor, your legs long, or you could hug your knees in. And resuming, knees bent, feet on floor. So putting those together in a different kind of way, so pelvis stays quiet, no movement in the pelvis. Starting with the thigh bone, moving out to the side, abducting, a little external rotating, keeping the pelvis and foot quiet. Leg going only as far as it can go. We just did this, but now from here, that same leg, for me it's my left leg, that same leg that moved out to the side, can you organize the foot so you're on the outer edge of that foot, so you've brought the foot sort of in neutral with the shin bone. In theory, if you would have kept your foot and leg all together, and then turn the leg out, you would be where you are now, outer foot, foot and leg integrated. Now keep the foot where it is and bring that knee back to point to vertical. Staying on the outer foot the whole time the pelvis is quiet. So similar to what we did before, but different. And then once the knee gets back to neutral, then the foot comes down. I'm going to say that again. Same leg or the other leg. Foot and pelvis stay quiet and stable on the floor. Take the leg, knee out to the side as far as it can go, not disturbing the pelvis or the foot. Then organize that foot so it's now sort of in line, in alignment with the leg. So outer foot, slicing into the floor, peeling up the toes. So the toes are perpendicular to the shin bone, into the heel bone, the legs tipped out to the side. Now foot stays there, foot stays rolled out, and bring the knee back. Bring the knee back, feel the inner thigh, feel the inner shin muscle, feel the inner arch muscle, feel your pelvic floor muscle. It may be deep in the pelvic half, iliacus, deep muscles of the spine. Then once the knee is back, level the foot out. Same side again or the other side. Pelvis and foot stay quiet, still, stable. How far can the knee go out to the side? Not that far, but find that edge. Then bring the foot to meet it. So tip onto that outer foot. So now the heel bone is in line with the shin bone, and the toes are perpendicular to that line. So you didn't know that you would have your geometry class this morning. And then the foot stays there. Bring the knee back to point to the ceiling. Still riding that outer foot. Try to keep the foot there. So really testing that deep inner leg strength. And then once the leg is back to vertical, then bring the foot to the floor. I'm going to do each side twice more. So you could do the same side 4 more times, or do each side right, left, or right, left. Pelvis and foot stay quiet. Knee goes out to the side. Then organize the foot to align with the leg and knee. Keep the foot there on the outer edge as you swing the knee back up. Keep the foot there. Keep the foot as it was. Hello, deep pelvic floor. And then once the knee is in place, foot comes back. So that's 1 of 3. If you're just jumping in, you missed a lot of exploration and explanation. And so you could rewind later. I recommend it. I got 2 more. So when the knee goes and the pelvis and foot don't, the foot's in pronation, then hold the leg stable. You're actually supinating or inverting the foot now to get it to line up with the leg. And then as the foot stays there and you swing the knee back, the foot goes into supination. Knee back to neutral, foot back to neutral. Last time for me. Something else that I want to mention here. So while we're moving the leg and keeping the foot still, then we keep the leg still and move the foot. Then we keep the foot still and move the leg. So that thing, moving the leg and keeping the foot still, we're working in a very unique way in the joint space of the ankle to move the bone closest to your center. It's called a proximal joint movement. So the proximal bone, the bone closest to your center, is the moving bone, which is not usually the case. So a whole host of therapeutic applications. I'm done with 2 sides, stretching legs long. And from here, I'm just gonna waggle, feet in, feet out, feet in, feet out, like turn 10 toes in, turn 10 toes out, and get a pretty good clip. Pretty flippity flappity, wiggly waggly, swooshy, loosey goosey for 5, 4. You can get a pretty good clip. 3, 2, and then blah, let it go. And feel the tingle, feel the prana, feel the chi. Feel the energy that you are. One more supine here. This one's now for the hip. Starting in the same way where the feet are on the floor, knees are bent. And bend one knee. I'm going to bend my right knee. And more or less having that knee right over the hip. Shins hovering in the air. And the action here is adduction, so swing on the right knee towards the left, but keeping, again, the pelvis heavy on the floor. And then swing the knee back over the hip. So it's that much movement. And again, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. Not turning the whole pelvis, but the pelvic half is moving. For sure, the pelvic half is moving, so we're not as isolated as we were. Left hand is going to come to the outer right knee. Knee pushes into hand, hand holds its own. So now the leg's trying to go the other way, but the hand is keeping it from doing so. Let the hand win. So the leg relaxes some, and the hand gently pulls the leg across, and the leg keeps pushing a little, right? And then let the leg win to come back up. Hand wins, leg is trying to push gently to the right, not hard at all. It's not a standoff or a power move between the hand and the leg. The point is to feel the contraction deep in the hip. So this is for our lateral rotators. Deep gluteal muscles underneath glute maximus, minimus, and medius. 6 little rotator guys that live in there. And we're engaging them, pushing leg into hand. But in that engagement, inviting them to go long. So letting the hand win. When the leg crosses the midline like this, those lateral rotators are being asked to lengthen. All right. Both my deep gluteal muscles are getting tired, and my arm. My arm is getting tired. Maybe another 2 or 3. Depends on what you feel. So, ideally the movement is smooth, slidey, glidey, smooth. And I meant to say this before, maybe you've encountered some rough patches, a little choppy, chattery, jaggedy movement. That's the stuff you want to smooth out. That's the stuff of deep interest. In theory, that's the stuff where the body forgot itself. It forgot its neighbors. It forgot its helpers. It forgot how to integrate all its parts. Okay. I'm putting that leg down, taking that arm out to the side. I'm going to just a soft relaxation, straight legs here. And I'm feeling like a deep, juicy, warm, melting, pouring down of like warm honey of the right hip. Like that butt cheek is heavier. I feel like my pelvis is listing to the right. So I want to do second side. Both knees bent. Left knee up, left shin up, foot hovering in the air. The movement is left knee without the whole left butt cheek peeling off the ground, swings to the right. Some of the butt cheek comes off the ground, but the sacrum doesn't change. The sacrum in the middle keeps the same weight. Right hand catches, presses against the outer left knee. So you cross that arm over. Knee and hand have a discussion here. And they're talking about which direction to go. And the knee is like, I want to go to the left. And the hand is saying, let's go to the right. And the leg will go, okay, but reluctantly. And the hand will go, okay. So they're having a little negotiation. It's not a big power play. They're just helping each other out. So the leg a little bit resists the hand, and the hand a little bit resists the leg. And I've said in many of my videos before, I don't have knee drama, I don't have SI drama, I have hip drama. This is where my imbalances and my disintegrated parts really show up. And so this is a delicate maneuver for me. And clearly strength building for me. Okay. I'm pausing. Do what you need to do, hug legs in, or tip knees right and left, or stretch body long, but at some point, pure stillness. Feel, receive, digest, and assimilate. Everything that we can. You know, some things we have to purge, no doubt. But even poison can have medicinal benefits. Taken in small doses. Bend your knees, feet on the floor. Same beginning, slightly different variation. So knee over hip. But then swing that, I got the right leg up, right heel, so it's over your left knee. So it's like a pigeon leg. Those of you who know the yoga pose, it's externally rotated. Same deal. Left hand's going to catch the outer knee. It's a little further reach because the knee is farther away. And knee pushes away into the fingers. Hand holds strong, so hand resists, and then the hand's going to pull the knee with the leg resisting, knee towards left shoulder, right knee towards left shoulder, and then the knee pushes into the hand. The hand is like, whoa, just stay here, man. And then the knee gives a little, and the hand pulls right knee to left shoulder. Don't make it a big battle. And then go away, around, and then towards. Full breath. And just like each pass of the leg is slightly different, I mean, it's gotta be. It's a whole new point in time. It's a whole new action. New fibers are coming online. Different fibers are getting tired. Right? Just like it's different every time. Make also space to notice the breath. Each breath. Each breath touching you in a different way. Each breath feeding you in a slightly different way. I'm going to do two more. One. Two. Sa, la, la, la. And I'm putting that leg on the floor. I'm stretching both legs long, hands on belly. No thing here, no thing. Just feel it. And love it. And appreciate it. Last one of these, second side, both feet on floor. If you're with me, it's the left knee in the air. Right over the left hip, and then rotate the leg so the left foot's over the right knee, but not touching. Right, I got a little supinated foot here. Right hand catches over the outer left knee, and left arm's just out to the side. Same deal. Knee pushes into those right fingers, away on that diagonal, and then the hand encourages that left knee towards right shoulder, even though the left knee resists, tiny, tiny bit. And stay in this dialogue. Stay in this negotiations between hand and knee, but they're really negotiating about the hip. They're talking about that left hip and finding what's in the best interest. And the idea again is these lateral rotators, we're turning them on, we're engaging them and feeling them engage in a lengthening way. It's called eccentric contraction, another therapeutic application, often overlooked. To work a muscle and lengthen it rather than to work it and just shorten it. You think of the muscles as sliding short and sliding long, and in their sliding short they engage, they're conscious, and in their sliding long they're engaged and they're conscious. Whoo-wee. I'm going to do two more. Try to smooth out any choppy, bouncy, jaggy movement. Holy moly, hip mother, love of God, stretch legs long. And now it's like my butt cheeks are spread out on the floor like pancake batter. I can feel my bones, so great. Okay. Let's do a little bit bigger movement now. Arms out to the side, knees pointing to the sky. Stand on your feet. And then let the knees tip all the way over to the left. Keep your feet staggered. And then use your right SI joint and your tail to swing the knees back. And then let knees tip to the right. And I'm going to take left SI joint to the floor and swing tail to the left to bring the knees up. And again, knees left. And use the right hip to bring them up, and knees right, and use the left hip to bring them up. One more time, knees over to the left, pause. Push inner edge of right foot into the floor. Feel that send the right hip forward, arching the back and rolling onto your left side. I do this a lot. I'm sure we've done it this week. And then let the hip bring you back. And then that right arm, I'm just going to drag it across my chest. Out to the side again, knees to the right. Slowing down these first ones. Inner edge of left foot gets heavy. And feel how that nudges the left hip forward towards the right knee. Arching the back. Spiraling up the spine, rolling across the back of your head all the way onto your left side. And then that left butt cheek pulls you back. And then the spine, and then the arm. So it's sequential rolling. Knees tip, then to the left, then the hips, then the spine, then the shoulder, then the head, the arm, and then the hip goes back, and then the spine, and then the ribs, and then the shoulder, and the arm, and the head. So it's sequential rolling. Do this a few more times, right and left. Versus rolling the whole spine and torso all in one piece. I talked about this last week, I think. How important both scenarios are. So very soft and billowy and slinky, snaky, cat-like. Cat-like. Next time, knees are to the left, pause. Roll onto your left, just like we were doing. Pause. Now, so your left side lying, your knees are a little staggered. Right hand's on the floor, back of left arm is on the floor. What would it be like if you reached your tail, tip of your tail now, find that in your mind, tip of the tail towards the floor underneath you, and you have to push with your right hand and your left elbow, and sort of seaweed snaky up. And then back down, left hand catches you, right hip pulls you back onto your back, unfurl the right arm, knees to the right, roll onto your right side. Reach your tail to the floor, you could say tail towards left heel, and push with the arms. Drop the pelvis and pour the spine into it. Like a giant palm tree in a hurricane, maybe not quite that violent. And then slide right arm out as you lay back down on the ground. Left hip pulls you back. Left arm arrives last, knees to the left. Swoosh over onto your side, pour the tail down, sweep up, snaky, swooshy, back down onto your left. Right bum pulls you back, knees swing up. Spine returns to neutral, right arm out, knees to the right, roll on to your right side and swooshy up. And swoosh down onto your back and then onto your left side, and let's meet there. Meeting on our left side again. Another step to this so you guys can watch. Same continuum. Pour tail down, swing the spine up. But instead of sliding back down that same side, swinging the knees up, feet stay on the floor, tip the knees to the right, then I swoosh down on the right side. Then left hip rolls back, knees up, spine down, left arm out. Keep going to the left. So now it's like a big circle onto the right. Join me circling to the right. In this moment where the knees come up, it's like ab work. And so the pelvis is really steering the whole thing. I mean, the knees are swinging around, but the tail pours us into vertical spine and roots us as we sweep around, and sustains us as we roll down, and then pulls us onto our back. I'm going to go the other way now. So pause in the middle when you're ready. And the knees to the right. Pour sequentially onto your right side, then tail roots you down, you rise up like a pine tree, or not pine tree, palm tree, seaweed, and then down you go. Keep going, turning to the left, rolling left, spinning left, pouring down left. I'm going to do one or two more to the left. And then pausing in my star shape, legs wide, arms wide, everything wide and quiet. Go ahead and curl onto one side. I'm on my right side. Use that same technology to sit up. So we're sitting with the legs. Some people call it a Z seat, where you've got one shin in front of you and one shin tucked behind you. If this doesn't work for your knees, you could have a loose crossed shin in front. What I'd like to be able to do is step the left shin is in front, right? And the right knee is tucked behind, or the right foot is set forward, whatever your right knee allows you to do. I want to swing that right foot. You're going to use your left hand across. So you can find this like half kneeling. And then you go to the other side. So you swing the right foot around from whence it came, tip the two knees, sort of like what we did before. But now with the right hand behind you, step the left foot all the way across. So we're covering more ground with the legs. So right hand is down, and I'm like right shin down, left foot in front. Swinging that left foot back from whence it came, lowering the bum, swinging the knees up, left hand behind, onto that left shin, and swing the right foot around. Now, the hand is helpful, but maybe it's not needed. Whoa, maybe it is needed. Maybe it's needed sometimes. So what is your ability to go from one shin, one foot, down on your bum and around to the other side, other shin, other foot? With hands or with no hands? And then eventually, you guessed it, standing. And then back down. Use your hands if you need them. Use your hands if you need them. If you need them, use them. One or two more. And then I invite you to either rest in standing or keep moving or do a forward bend of any sort. It could be a wide-legged forward bend. It could be a down dog. And feel into this new weight bearing. It's not new. New this morning. Weight bearing capacity of the feet. And in a forward bend, you can really look at them. You can see the vertical heel into the shin. You might have to use your x-ray vision to be able to see your bones. But there's not much fat or flesh down here, so it's pretty easy to see the bones in my opinion. And then the horizontal nature of the toes. And the crucial place is somewhere either in the arch of the foot or in the lower ankle where we tend to lose integrity. Usually the inner arches collapse in. And so the heel is no longer vertical. It's at an angle. Come rolling on up. Get your feet right under you. Last week in the somatics class, I talked about the relationship between the perimeter of the pelvis and the perimeter of the feet. That there's a relationship front of pelvis to front of feet and toes, sides of pelvis to outer feet, back of pelvis to the heel, the inner pelvis to the inner feet. From here, please put all your weight in your outer left heel. And then run that weight along the outer left foot from the heel to the pinky toe ball mound. Not necessarily the toe print. You could go to the print. Find the ball mound too. So pinky toe, then to fourth toe, your ring toe. Can be hard to parse out. Then your middle toe takes the weight, and then second toe takes the weight, and then big toe. And then from that left big toe to the outer edge of your right heel. And roll along the outer foot with your weight to the pinky toe, to the fourth, that's the ring toe, middle toe, second toe, big toe, from big toe of right foot to outer left heel. Roll along the outer foot to toes 5, 4, 3, 1, left big toe to outer right heel, to outer right foot, to toes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to outer left heel. So you're making a figure 8 with the feet. And ideally you're not skipping any toes. Not skipping any toes. I learned this from one of my beloveds, Amy Matthews. Love her so much. Big shout out to Amy Matthews. And so then, if you've got this pattern, take it a little bit wider, feet a little bit wider. So maybe wider than your hips. This gives you a little bit more capacity for movement. So how much space, still doing the figure 8, not skipping any toes, how much space can you take up with the hips? How vast of a angle of directionality can you use with your torso in terms of twisting the torso around and seeing the space around you and swiveling the pelvis? I can use this figure 8 pattern to actually see 360 degrees around me. So swinging the knees sort of past the feet, past the outer foot. Yes, your knee goes over your toes. If it hurts, by all means, don't do it, or find a way to do it so it doesn't hurt. The knees are twisting. The feet are supinating and pronating. And one of the primary things is the pathway that we're pouring into our feet. Outer back heel, outer foot, toes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to the other outer heel. This is the pathway of weight when we're walking. When we're walking, this is the same pathway. Maybe feet go a little wider here. Maybe. So it ends up being very Tai Chi-esque and a very massaging action for your feet and your knees and your hips. And oh, by the way, your spine and your neck and your head. So what I invite you to do now, stay with this. If you have any bandwidth available, connect with your tail. The tip of your tail. And notice how when you're weight bearing with the feet and moving that weight around, this pattern, outer heel, outer foot, through the 5 toes, from the big toe of one foot to the outer heel of the other foot, your tail is sort of tracing that same figure 8. It's tracing that same figure 8. And so with each foot, as we weight bear, the tail reaches and responds. So let's start to walk around your little space, putting one foot in front of the other with that same pathway of weight in the feet. Outer heel, outer foot, pinky to big toe, then the other foot. And can you let your tail sort of initiate? Can the tail reaching from left heel to right heel initiate? It's sort of a swagger, sort of a runway walk. It's a little sassy. It's pretty swooshy. And from the yogic lens, it's right in that area of Kundalini, that primal energy of wakefulness, of aliveness, of juiciness. And so your homework from now until as long as you want to do it, continue to relate to the pelvis to feet connection and walking from your tail. Walking from your tail. So you could find a pausing point if you like. You could keep walking around. You could walk right out the door. Sending love to you all. You guys are adorable. I love you. Let there be peace on earth. And let it start right here, right now. Thank you. I love you.